Hey everyone, I just finished at the gym, LA Fitness. That's why I'm a little sweaty right now. I know, not a good look, but I did want to give my quick thoughts just because it's like already in my head of 3 tips that I found extremely useful in my time as being a new dad. And I think that new fathers out there, or maybe even fathers to be, or aspiring fathers, or people that are already there, might find it useful as well. I do have 2 quick disclaimers. One is that I've only been a father for 3.5 months. So you might take it with a grain of salt, my tips, because when they get to the toddler stage or teenager or preteen, whatever it may be, you might want to add a lot of tips onto these 3. But I do feel like these 3 are pretty universal. And at least the first 2 apply to every circumstance where you do have a spouse or a partner or girlfriend, whatever it may be. And so, kind of a disclaimer, but not really. Number 2 is that I do have an amazing wife who has been there with me every step of the way, allowing me and giving me space to become the father that I need to be to our son. And so I know it's not really like a tip to say, get the best wife or get the best girlfriend, but it is an extremely important part of being a father is having an amazing relationship first with the mother of your child. And so I will say that, I already had an amazing marriage, already married to the love of my life, someone that I find so beautiful and so perfect. And just seeing her, how she is as a mother, extremely nurturing towards our son and so selfless. She'll give anything for his health and happiness. It's only deepened our bond even more. And yes, there are sleepless nights. She's gone through so much with our son, and I've only tried to help in every way that I can. But the bond that they have is just on a different level. And so I've really taken it upon myself to, find my own role in that. But I do want to say that there are going to be moments where you feel like, holy cow, our son or our daughter, our child has taken away so much time that we used to have together to strengthen our bond. But trust me, like, that bond just gets deeper and deeper as you raise your child together, as you see like all the commitment that your partner puts into raising your child. It's a truly beautiful thing. And so I'm going to start 3 minutes in with tip number 1, which is be kind, be charitable. So one thing that's really important to know when it comes to like be charitable is to know that you may be overwhelmed, tired, you didn't sleep the night before or the past week, or maybe you've done all the cleaning or all the cooking, or maybe you've been working all day and you just want to watch TV, sit back and relax, and then your partner expects you to take care of the kid and you're like, oh, can I just relax for 1 second? Or maybe any of those scenarios. The most important thing when you have that mindset is to just like try your best to remember that your partner, in my case my wife, feels the exact same way that I do. Maybe overwhelmed, maybe tired, maybe like she's doing everything she can, and she is. And I'm also doing everything I can. But the important thing is to not ever like turn it against the other person and think like, I'm doing so much, I don't see everything you're doing. Because you're not going to see everything that your partner's doing. For example, I might be washing all the clothes and then I'm like cleaning the kitchen, and then I also clean the kitchen because I made the meal. But that whole time, my wife was putting down her son, feeding him, cleaning his cloth diapers, maybe folding his clothes, maybe just resting. And that's something that's extremely important, is to prioritize, getting in rest where you can. And so if she can rest, I have to allow her space to do that. And so my thing is that I can feel like I've done all these things because I have, but I also need to realize that she's doing as much as she can as well. And so just keeping that perspective and being charitable towards the other person, giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're also trying their best and doing everything they can for your child and your relationship. That's extremely important. So don't forget that. So tip number 2 is going to be get in where you fit in. So as guys, and I don't want to like say anything that might be too out there, but I do feel like guys like to do physical stuff. Like we'll do errands, you know, we'll go to the store and pick up diapers for the child. We'll play with them when they're, you know, 6 months old and toss them in the air and do all the fun activities, take them out, you know, go to the park, maybe go to work, do all those types of things. One thing we're not necessarily used to doing, but I think is extremely important that we do get used to, is like washing the dishes, all the stuff I just mentioned that I've really stepped my game up to try to do better, is like all of the household things that are important. And then on top of that, like making sure all the bills are done, making sure that everything is in order so that nothing gets like over like there's nothing that I'm missing that's like going above our heads. And then on top of that, making sure that the house is in order. And so I found that really difficult because I wanted to also have the same exact role as my wife when it came to raising our son. Like I wanted to always hold him when he's taking naps, and I wanted to feed him and give him from the bottle, breast milk from the bottle, or just be the one that soothes him as well. Because I always thought that I was like a baby person. Because I remember having like smaller nephews or nieces, or friends had babies, and every time I carried them, they would always be soothed. Turns out they were like 6 months old or a year. It's a lot different when they're, you know, 0 to 3 months. In my case, our son only wanted to be with his mom. He would only let me hold him for like 30 minutes or up to an hour maybe, if he was just, you know, well rested, well fed, and just had his diaper changed. Maybe an hour with me. And so it was really difficult for me to adjust to my wife always being the one there for him, and me just having to, you know, take a back seat to that. It was really difficult. But what I realized was that I needed to get in where I fit in. So there were a lot of other things I needed to get done while she was taking care of him, because he needed her to feed. You know, he was just in her for 9 months in her stomach. And so, well, not in her stomach literally, but he was just in her for 9 months. And so she was what he needed to be soothed. And so I needed to understand that and fulfill my role and do everything that she wasn't able to do because she was with him. And so as a guy, you need to like put your ego aside and just do what needs to get done. That's something that you need to realize. And something that I realized becoming a new father. Okay, so tip number 3 is kind of might be controversial, or I'm not too sure, and it doesn't apply to every case because I'm not sure how C-sections, like how that works for the father to be in the operating room or however it goes down. But we decided, me and my wife, early on that we were going to have a midwife birth. That was going to be a home birth. We ended up moving from our house into an apartment when we moved across the country, and so we couldn't have it in the apartment, but we decided to do it in a birthing center. And so what that involved was, once the contractions became, you know, 511 or 311, basically that's when we ended up driving to the birthing center. And through every contraction there that my wife had during active labor, you know, I was holding on to her. I was putting her in the position that she needed to be in, that the midwives were directing me to put her in. And so I was either holding her hand, or I was super active in the birthing process during my wife's labor. And I will say that I know that it doesn't really apply to everyone. maybe it's a C-section and so you can't be around or something like that. But I will say that you as the father may not remember that day that much. You might remember the first time you see your child, but it really changed a lot for me being able to see my wife and support her during labor. And that the wife will always remember that labor. And as a father, you know, if it's like a C-section or something, you might not remember anything about the labor. And I know that it's controversial because I know that not every birth can be a natural birth. But if your wife does opt and can have a natural birth, fathers or fathers-to-be, I really, really recommend being there every step of the way for your wife in every way you can. There's a ton of videos of how, as a father, you can be supportive throughout the labor process, what positions to hold them in, place them in, and it's something that you'll never forget. It's only going to deepen your bond with the mother, and it's going to strengthen you guys so much. Like I kept saying, you might not remember the, you know, labor if it's a C-section or if it's some other type of birth, or but you will definitely remember it, and your wife will never forget how you were there for her during her labor. So those are my 3 tips. I might have more later, and yeah, just let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any other tips. I'm a new dad. It's only been 3.5 months, so I can take like all of the learning that I can get right now. But seeing my son grow up is just absolutely amazing, and it's a blessing that he's just happy and healthy. And so I really hope that any of you fathers or fathers-to-be experience the same level of happiness or more that I've been experiencing. And so yeah, let me know what you guys think. Till next time, bye.